Bull Street, which we're on, is the center line. Everything over that side of Bull Street is an east address. Everything on this side is a west address of the 5 squares on Bull Street. This is the center square. Oh, by the way, good shot of the Presbyterian Church from here, the break between the 2 buildings. We're going to see this once more, because we have something to look at the other side of the square. But good shot there. And incidentally, First Baptist Church here. Congregation dates to 1800, but the church structure itself dates to 1833, making it the oldest church building in downtown Savannah. This gorgeous Greek Revival building, built 1847, headquarters of the Parker's Company. So whenever you see these Parker's markets around here, yeah, that started as a small convenience store in Midway, Georgia in 1976, owned by one guy. And now it's worth $500 million. Oh, okay. Architectural features, the big scaly fish-shaped downspouts we call dolphin downspouts at the bottom of the rain gutters here. If you can ever find those in cast iron, snap those up. Those are going to be collector's items. They're very rare. You can find them in plastic and rubber and Home Depot, Lowe's, and Ace Hardware. And by the way, of course, used in the middle of our square, but our founding father, James Edward Oglethorpe. His tri-corner Colonial here hat, his Colonial era garb, looking a little bit like Captain Morgan from a bottle of rum. And you would have to ask, say Captain Morgan was a pirate, so what's with the Oglethorpe looking kind of fierce? Well, he's got his sword drawn because he's defending us against a possible Spanish invasion. So he's facing south towards Florida. England was at war with Spain, which was occupying Florida. Spain was never dumb enough to try to take the city from the water, only we were stupid enough to do that, and I've already told you how that worked out. Yeah, the city, the British did very well by founding the city on the high ground overlooking the Savannah River, about 14 miles from the ocean. As the crow flies, more like 18 miles the way that ships had to twist and turn those bends. So this is the Savannah Theater, stop number 2, and we're favorites. So, yeah. And by the way, they have portraits of famous actors from the 19th century performed in that theater. A pair of brothers. Beneath one's name it says probably, or definitely, and the other's name it says probably. The definitely is Edwin Booth. The probably is the Lincoln assassin, John Wilkes Booth. No kidding, he probably performed here. One last shot of the Presbyterian Church. Gorgeous view from the break in the buildings here. Now let's get to Mr. Oglethorpe just a wee bit. When I say he's a noble English gentleman, I mean that man came here outlawing, among other things, slavery, hard liquor, and lawyers. We think that word is pretty funny. Slavery was initially illegal here, but not for very long, everybody, so don't believe it never came here. It came here when this city was only 18 years old, 1751. Hard liquor was illegal here. Where would the bachelorette parties meet without our liquor open container law? Lawyers were illegal here because Mr. Oglethorpe thought that strong drink would make lawyers were illegal. God, I got ahead of myself. Lawyers were illegal here because Mr. Oglethorpe, his best friend died in debtor's prison in England, and before he came here, when he got into prison reform, 2 daggone many lawyers. Now he's facing in the direction of a very nice English pub called the Sixpence, where they film scenes from Something to Talk About with Julia Roberts and Dennis Quaid. And yeah, if something seems right, there's also something wrong you can't quite put your finger on. It is the fact that that scene was actually set in Boston, but they filmed it here. Because we have such a gorgeous city here. Film and television crews come here and they tell you, you know what? In other cities we go to, we got to look for a good shot. In Savannah, boy, we point the camera anywhere. And so yeah, the phone booth they actually brought here from England makes a major stop for a lot of people wanting English cuisine. One of the interesting things they have on the menu there is beef. Stop number 3, which is the Sorrel Weed House. This is built for Francis Sorrel, who owned a row of warehouses on River Street. Would have made him very wealthy. Had it built 1837 to 1841. When current, by the way, anyone getting out here? Stop number 3? Anybody? All right, so you're all doing the first part of the first part of your setting up on the ball. Yeah, current owners, they digged up the basement, found human remains accompanied by British-made cannonballs dating to the late 1700s. Siege of Savannah, 1779. Speaking of which, that is one of our fallen heroes in Middle Square. Sergeant William Jasper died fighting for us in a horrible day. We lost another guy, and we have a monument to Casimir Pulaski the next square down. When we jump across the street from the square to this building here, we go to Sherman's headquarters. This was Sherman's headquarters during the Civil War. He captured the city with 61,000 Union troops on December 21st, 1864, and Lee surrendered at Appomattox less than 4 months later on April 9th. 110 days, I think you'll find that number is. And if I have a pet peeve, it's all the cockamamie conspiracy theories about why Sherman didn't burn Savannah. It's really simple. The city surrendered and he didn't want to burn it. He needed it intact to use all of its resources to fight and win the war. He had a major deep water shipping port that he could use. He had all these men and supplies down here. Sacking and burning any one of it would have been like breaking into a bank and burning the cash. He had all these resources he used to help win the war. And by the way, it was the longest, bloodiest war in American history. Casualties generally get put about 650, about 720,000, 720 or 30,000. And it was the bloodiest war in American history. More people died in that conflict, more Americans died in that conflict than all of our wars put together from the Revolutionary War up to Korea, through Korea. Now, coming up on our left, the first building bought up by the Savannah College of Art and Design in the late 70s, the cannons that flanked the doorway. Founder of the American Cavalry, a Polish expert horseman, founded the American Cavalry when we were very young as a nation in 1779. Coming up next on the right is the Mercer Williams house. Anyone familiar with Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil? This is where the shooting occurred. It's kind of a celebrity murder trial of a man named Jim Williams, successful building preservationist and antique dealer in that lower left room. In 1979, he shot to death a young man named Danny Lewis Hansford. And he shoots him, and the case goes to trial. He says self-defense. Jenny flew into a drunken rage. The prosecution, making kind of controversial for the 70s, early 80s, said no, this was a lover's quarrel between you two. You murdered him and put a gun in his dead hand to make it look like self-defense. He went to trial 4 times before he's finally acquitted and died a year after he got acquitted. And then her where he shot in, which some would say was spooky, and others would say, well, it was his office. He spent several hours a day there. Now, here on the right is the Temple Mikveh Israel, which was the house of worship of that Jewish congregation who came here and saved us in 1733. According to a local history teacher, this Jewish doctor observed us drinking water right out of the Savannah River and had to tell us, why don't you try boiling that river water before you drink it? Hey, we tended to stay healthier. It was a time when they had to make an ordinance making it illegal to make chimneys made of wood. Not only were people doing it, they were doing it so much you had to make it illegal. The joke about screen doors in a submarine comes to mind. Now, coming up next, we're going to have what we call the mirror image house, because you've got 2 identical homes here in the same building. I get a story past me. I should take it as a grain of salt. I can't find validation or debunking of the story that claims that this was owned by a man who had 2 squabbling daughters fighting over everything he gave them. So in frustration and in an exercise of the ultimate dad move, he said, here, he gave them 2 identical homes in the same building. Here, fight over this, ladies. I don't know if that's true, but it's daggone funny. I kind of hope it is. Now, if you saw the film version of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, anybody who's in? You got to see Jim's attorney, Sonny Sider. They gave him a big part in the film. For the sake of brevity, they kept the 4 trials. They reduced the 4 trials down to 1. It was ordered from a catalog in the 1850s. Not quite as Sears and Roebuck catalog, a little bit before they came to be. Only 3 others like it in the world: in Poughkeepsie, New York, Cusco, Peru, and Paris, France. Okay, now another one of my little pet peeves as far as urban myths go. Next to the wrong story about why Sherman didn't burn Savannah, I get irate when I hear somebody say Spanish moss is a parasite. That is so easy to debunk. Seriously? If you don't have a bucket of water to dump over the head of the person calling Spanish moss a parasite, at least embarrass the living crap out of them by putting your phone on speaker and saying, Siri, is Spanish moss a parasite? And you'll get a voice coming back saying, where's the effect of it? No, Spanish moss is an epiphyte of the genus Tillandsia and does not draw energy from the host plant on which it grows. It frequently grows slower than the host plant, which means it does not cut off photosynthesis. It's an oak tree that, according to the sign in front of it, is approximately 300 years old. Its own ecosystem. You've got ferns there, Spanish moss. By the way, the ferns are resurrection ferns. Will be the stuff that's kind of looking dingy. Tops of the windows. Okay, we have a Declaration of Independence signer buried there. Button Gwinnett, that's his shrine. See, there's 4 columns surrounding a podium. That's a shrine to Button Gwinnett. Mr. McIntosh lived for many years in this woods. Mr. Gwinnett caught gangrene and it took him 3 days to die. But we did it for the more lasting fame. 1 to 3, George Hassan. Yes, ma'am, it's so cute. 511 square feet and $275,000 worth of cute. By contrast, I live in a 2-bedroom place, about 1,000 square feet, less than 2 miles from here. I rent for $700. That's one of the worst presidents we ever had. I'm going to call him a scumbag because he tried to reinstate slavery. He tried to restart the Civil War, basically. And yeah, built in 1892. And I haven't stayed there because, frankly, 3 nights there is probably 1 month's rent for me. So this is a high rent district. This is a very nice part of town. Check out the seashell cement. The sidewalks to our right. That's called tabby, you know, like the little kitty cat. Oyster shells, sand, lime, and water. There are more modern renditions of it, which I believe you're looking at there to the right. And older renderings of it, which I think you're looking at here. The Fair Academy of Arts and Sciences. This went in, this became our first art gallery after it was left to us by Mary Telfair.
I want to show you, these are some really cool shops. And one in particular, I want to point out to you, which is called the Matter of Factors. If you're looking for an awesome gift shop, to see the one with the American flag and furlough there with this gentleman there just starting to walk in. That's called Matter of Factors, great gift shop. But if you're looking for some nice, inexpensive bottles of Georgia wine,
It's like, you know, if you want them to like communicate it ahead of time, but like just waking up to getting like a thing.
There's Tacoma. Yeah, there's
Spoiled. Spoiled.
Đây làm kiển thôi chứ nó đâu có chạy đâu.